Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today we're going to talk about pushing yourself. When I was thinking about a YouTube topic to cover today, I was going down my list, and one of the things that popped into my head some time ago was about the fear of people pushing themselves too hard. Now, you might say, Aaron, what does that mean? I push myself at work, I push myself working out, I work out to the point I get sick, or I work so much I get sick and then I fall apart. Where is that line for you? That's a question that you really should have an answer to, because as a polar explorer, mountaineer, and expeditioner, I always look at the value of where I am in my physical ability, my mental ability, and really how I'm doing. Because I've found a lot of people actually fear pushing themselves too far. Not just at work, but in their capacity and their ability to challenge themselves. So let's investigate this. A couple weeks ago, I was climbing, Disappointment Peak in Jackson Hole in a snowstorm, and I knew it was snowing and it was pretty wild up top, and I was going, and I was probably 100 yards vertical from the top and maybe 400 or 500 yards out from the summit, and I got there and I'm in the winds blowing. I can't see even with my glasses. I didn't even think to bring goggles, probably fail on my part, but I was thinking, okay, I've been really pushing myself and stomping up in this knee-deep snow, and I've gotten to these huge rocks, but every time I climb on the rocks, I slip off. I slip in between, go in between there, and and I smash my shin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep falling in between these rocks, and sooner or later I'm gonna fall, snap! Yeah, I don't wanna break my leg. So I turned around. Now I think when I'm standing here, like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty bad. And so I had to evaluate where I was going to be, how long it would take for me to get back down the tough climbing part of the mountain, and then to get to the trail. I knew I was going to be hiking in the dark anyway, but I had to evaluate where I was going to be on the mountain to get to the safe part of the trail where I can go hiking. Now, of course, there are bears, there are other animals there. That's another matter, but the area that I had to down climb, it was a little bit tricky finding my way through, and I kind of hacked my hand a little bit because I had to take gloves off because I was climbing the rock, but then I had to grab a tree branch in a precarious position, and I gouged my hand a little bit. I would have preferred to have the gloves on, but so question of pushing myself. Do I keep going even though I'm extremely fatigued? It's very late in the day. A storm is blowing through. I keep falling off rocks and into snow because it's slick. Do I keep going? And I thought about it. I'm like, well, should I keep going? No, because, and this is why, I thought, man, if I fall down and I even just twist my ankle, let's just say not break my leg, it's late, a storm's coming through. If something happens to me, will my GPS signal go out? It should. But will anybody be able to come save me when I get stuck up on this mountain? No way. Because there was so much wind and snow coming through, the cloud level is on to me. There's no way a rescue team would head up there at 5+ in the evening. They're gonna like, dude, you're in trouble. You're gonna have to hang out, hunker down in a rock. We'll come get you tomorrow. You always have to evaluate that as a soloist. Like, oh man, do I really push it? Do I keep going? Because one of the dangers of any of the activities that you might do in your life, you develop summit fever, where it's not that you're sweating, it's just in your head. You see that summit, you go mad, and I've got to get to the summit because I've spent too much, I've got too much time involved. And people have risked themselves. I look at John Krakauer's book, not Into Thin Air, In Touching the Void. Yeah, Into Thin Air, sorry. Those people pushed past their time limit, pushed past their abilities, and a lot of them got killed. Pushing your limits. In that particular case, probably not the wisest thing. I'm standing here now because it's still cloudy outside, but it's not that big a deal. Should I have pushed myself? I don't know. The mountain's going to be there next year. It would be way easier to climb that thing, not in stormy conditions, not in wet, slushy snow, by myself. You really want to go solo. So the question of pushing yourself, where in the spectrum of totally crazy to absolutely benign do you exist? And are you afraid to push yourself? So I'm always fearful, and I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to have anything bad happen. I don't want to put people out, stress family and loved ones out. Don't want to do that. But was I up there knowing that, look, I can push and push and push until basically the snow's and I can't see anymore. Okay, being blind, that's pretty much my limit. I'm not going to crawl up to the top of Disappointment Peak in a storm. Definitely way beyond the edge of pushing myself. Where do you exist? Do you say, I don't want to go out running, I don't want to work out because I don't want to push myself? Well, when you're sitting on that chair eating your Doritos and Oreo cookies and what do you think is better? Yeah, I love my Doritos. I don't like Oreos, but that's a personal preference. That's neither here nor there. The thought is pushing yourself. How much do you push yourself to get the things that you want so you can do everything that you enjoy and have the things you want to have? That is the ultimate question. Are you willing to get up earlier? Are you willing to stay up later? Are you willing to work a little bit, just a little bit harder? Or pushing yourself, hey, do I have to choose between work and my spouse, my kids? That's tougher mathematics. That calculus of figuring out, do I spend more time at work? Do I spend more time with my family? I can't answer that. And you have to look at the evaluation for yourself of what is more important. Will you advance in your career so much that you actually have more time that you can spend with your family and loved ones? Yes? No. You have to evaluate that question. Are you going to move up in your career, say you're single and you're going to go all out, but you have no life whatsoever? Maybe that's fine. I don't know. I mean, everybody has their evaluation. But how you measure, how you push yourself is really how you figure out how far you're going to go in life. So many people I've met like, man, I don't want to push myself. That's too hard. That's a lot of work. The W. Oh, let's see. Can I make a W here? Yeah, the W word. Work. Oh, let's see. We'll do the W word over here. Work, yeah. Man, pushing yourself at work is great up to the point where you start falling apart or your relationships start falling apart. Yeah. So pushing yourself, you got to think, how's this going to be when I come and go to bed? Well, let's just talk about physically working out. And like when I was in Antarctica, it was stormy. It was raging wind, minus 100 degrees. My nose and cheeks were freezing. My fingers were freezing. Yeah. But as soon as I was done for the day, I put up my tent, jumped in the tent, zipped that sucker up. It's really not that bad. Isn't that fascinating? What conditions were horrible and raging outside, and it would kill a lot of people or at least give them frostbite. To me, this is pretty bad, but I keep going. But as soon as I jumped into the tent, which only like a fraction of a millimeter of nylon separates me from outside and inside, all of a sudden, hey, life's good. It's loud outside. It's no big deal. Think about the tent in your life. Where is your safe place? Where do you hide from your problems? Not safe place in college where, don't tell me bad things, whatever. We're not thinking about that safe place. Just your psychological refuge from the raging terror outside, at work, at home, whatever that is. And evaluate, okay, I'm pushing myself, but really if I go home and I quit, was it really that bad? That bad. That's the question. Is what you're doing right now to work out, to build yourself better, to build your personality, your character, your education, is school that much tougher? Is working harder on building your own career that much tougher? And then you go home and you think, you know, it really wasn't that bad. I've had that happen where I'm going and pushing out, and I get home and I'm like, dude, why'd you turn around? Why'd you quit? I admit it, I've turned around quite a few times, but I'm still alive. But on school and education, I got so mad as a kid, my mom told me I would throw my books. Was it really that bad that I had to sit down, study, and learn my math problems? No, it wasn't. But it is all in your head, and it is all in your heart. And as long as you're not in true physical danger, and everybody has a measure, people climb the Grand Teton in 4 hours, up, down, jogging. I do it in a lot more hours. Other people take 1 day guided, 2 or even 3 day guided. And then there's the majority, heck no, I would never do that. That's too dangerous, risky, crazy, dumb. Where is the level that you can push yourself? Because if you see somebody else physically doing something, odds are you might be able to do it too. So when you think about pushing yourself, just remember, when I go home, was it really that bad in what I'm doing? That is a great valuation question to see where you are and if you're pushing yourself or not. And if, you know, if I go home, oh, it's really not that bad, just put in a little bit extra effort, and it can make all the difference in your life, whether it's in your relationships, your job, your education, or whatever you might be doing. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I am a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video, subscribe to the channel, please support me on Patreon or on my PayPal. Please follow me at Linsdau on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching.